So basically, Dr. Zaghlol, it's the force of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which is the main cause.
Indeed. Indeed, Allah is governing that universe and governing every bit in it, every movement in it, every spin in it. Allah is governing it.
So still, those who are unbelieved or don't believe in God, those are admit this fact.
You see, there is a big difference between knowledge and guidance. You may have knowledge, but if you don't have the guidance, it will never lead you anywhere. We have very many eminent scholars in the West who are agnostics or atheists or unbelievers, you see. And we as Muslims did not play our role properly in bringing to their notice or their attention to these scientific notions in the glorious Qur'an. And I do hope that such programs can reach the notice of many non-believers, and may Allah give them guidance, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, moving to you, Abdurrahman.
Given the fact that there is a lack of gravity in space, I wonder what keeps a star in its place, or what keeps it in its orbit.
Can you raise your voice a little bit? Yeah.
So the question is the position of the stars with no gravity. What maintains the positions and the sequence?
No, actually, gravity is one of the forces that controls the relationship between these bodies, you see. Gravity is, of course, we have four main forces in the universe. The weak nuclear force that binds elementary particles in the nuclei of elements. We have this is a strong nuclear force. Then we have the weak nuclear force that binds electrons to the nucleus. We have the electromagnetic force that binds atoms together in a molecule and in compounds in general. And then we have the gravity that binds these heavenly bodies together. And without these forces, this universe would collapse.
So there is gravity in space?
There is gravity, yes. Yes.
And what causes gravity? Do we have a core for universe that pulls everything around it?
Wallahi, nobody knows exactly what creates gravity. It's a power which Allah has placed in that universe. Because without this power, this universe could not stand.
Yes. Okay, I have a little question.
Yes.
Does every star have to have a planet or a galaxy? Or
you see, every star has got satellites, like our sun. Our sun has got planets, moons, meteors, meteorites, comets, and you name it, you see, within our own solar system, you see. So we assume that every star has got its own satellites in exactly the same way our sun has got its own satellites.
Okay. Any further questions before we move to the second verse?
Another small question. What makes a star a star? Is it the composition, the structure, or the size?
Stars are mainly composed of clouds of smoke. And there are vertigos that would created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within this smoke cloud. And as a result of the tremendous pressure created within the cloud, the process of nuclear fusion will start. And once you start a process of nuclear fusion in a gaseous body, it becomes a star.
Okay. Let's now move to the second verse and
Yes.
the second ayah, وَالسَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقِ. The importance of this ayah, and why is it there is so much emphasis on الطارق.
وَالسَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقُ النَّجْمُ الثَّاقِبُ.
By the heaven and at Tariq. And what will explain to you what is at Tariq? It is the star of piercing brightness.
You see, again, this is a form of an oath by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as I said earlier, Allah is above giving an oath to us. Who are we that Allah would give us an oath? But when a Quranic verse comes in the context of an oath, this is a way of directing our attention to the importance of the matter by which the oath is given.
Yes.
You human beings, look at this matter because it's very important for your existence. So when Allah gives an oath by as-sama, the firmament, of course, if we look into the firmament, we can see a beautiful illustration of the might, knowledge, wisdom, and power of the Creator. Not going into that. So as-sama, or the firmament, is worthy of giving an oath by, to direct our attention to its greatness and its importance, its vastness and its orderly arrangement. What tariq, you see, and then the address goes to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَمَا أَدْرَكَ مَا الطَّارِقِ النَّجْمُ الثَّاقِبِ. How could you know a tariq? It is the piercing star. What's a piercing star? Early commentators of the Quran, they said, it's every star. They said it's every star. But the context actually denies that. It must be a very special star, so that Allah would name it at-tariq. Only very recently we came to realize that stars have got a history of development, like any existing being. They are born, they have a baby stage, a youthful stage, an old age stage, and a moment of dying out. And if you get what we call a normal sequence star, like the sun, it will die out to what we call a red giant. But we have stars much greater in mass than the sun, 10 times the mass of the sun, or 15 times the mass of the sun. These are called supergiants. When you get a supergiant, it will die out as what we call supernova. And the supernova, it's a huge explosion. And as a result of that explosion, matter is condensed at the core of the supernova to a density beyond human imagination. The first stage of this condensation presses matter against each other so that it will change everything into neutrons. And we call this a neutron star. If you press the electrons in the orbit of a nucleus to reach the nucleus, you change everything into neutrality. We call this a neutron star. The neutron star is a small star. It has got a dimension of 18 to 20 kilometers, not more than that. But it has got a density of 1 billion tons for a cubic centimeter. 1 billion tons, 1,000 million tons for a cubic centimeter. If 1 centimeter of that star would fall on the earth, would destroy the earth completely. Completely destroy the earth. So, because of this high density, a neutron star revolves around its own axis at a very high speed. And of course, because of its nature, it radiates radio waves. And these radio waves come and knock the atmosphere of the earth in exactly the same way somebody would be knocking at the door of wood or of steel, or whatever you call it. And that's why Allah called it at-tariq. Yeah. Taraqa in Arabic means knocked. You see? Al-matraqa, something that you knock by, you see. So at-tariq is, I translate the knocking star. The knocking star is a unique star because it revolves around its own axis 30 times a second, radiating immense quantity of radio waves. And these radio waves can penetrate the universe.
These are new discoveries to the science.
New discovery. This was known in the later part of the 1970s, you see, the later part of the 20th century, 1980s.
Yes.
And for the Quran to spell that out 14 centuries ago is a living testimony to every rational person.
I'd love
that
to,
this cannot be the work of man.
This is a very beautiful statement, and I'd love to end it to end the edition with this statement. Professor Zaghlol El-Naggar, I really thank you very much for being here with us in this edition. And also thank our guest Zabihullah and Abdul Rahman Ismail for being here with us. And with this, we come to the end of this edition of Quran and Science. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.